Boker Tov, Shavua Tov. Continuing Halachot of Pesach, we were discussing briefly what makes something Chametz, how to define Chametz. So we've explained that it's asur to eat Chametz on Pesach, the same way it is asur to have hana'ah, to derive any sort of pleasure from Chametz over Pesach. So now it's an important discussion of what constitutes something that is considered Chametz. We know that if it's mixed with one of the 5 grains and it has time to 18 minutes to 11, let's say, it becomes Chametz. Now, until what point is it still considered Chametz? Meaning, if it's no longer edible, is it still considered Chametz or not? So the Halacha explains if it's no longer edible, Ra'u lachilat kelev, no, a dog cannot eat it. At that point, it's not considered food anymore. And what a Jew would be allowed to retain that bread, or that inedible former bread, in his house over Pesach. So, example is, let's say a few days before Pesach, you burn a bread so much to a crisp that it becomes like a charcoal type thing. That charcoal would be allowed to be, according to Rav Vaida, you can retain it and keep it in your possession over Pesach because it's not considered food anymore. You have no more hana'ah from it. It's charcoal, it's not food, and the dog won't eat it. Now, what about if it's something that it's inedible, but you eat it? So this charcoal, now I want to take a bite into this charcoal. I don't know why, don't ask me why, someone wants to do it. What's the status of that on Pesach? So it's a machloket rishonim. The Bala Maor and the Ran, they explain that once it becomes inedible and nullified and you can't eat it anymore, automatically it's no longer food and it's no longer chametz. And even if someone would go and eat it again, it's not a problem. But the Rosh and many other rishonim disagree and say if you eat it again, it shows that it's still a little bit food, in theory. So therefore, according to the Rosh and the other Rishonim, you would not be allowed to eat this inedible chametz, former chametz, on Pesach. How does the Shulchan Aruch hold? Maran Shulchan Aruch is posek, like the Rosh and the other Rishonim, the latter opinion, that if you go and you eat it again, even though it's not ra'u lachilat kelev, a dog wouldn't eat it, when you eat it, you're showing in essence that it is edible, and the chametz status comes back and is an issue of eating chametz on Pesach. So where did this come up in applicable practical cases? With different types of cosmetics, inks, perfumes, lipsticks, these things of the matter. Lipstick, as long as there's no taste, there's no requirement for it to be kasher la Pesach. Even though it's in essence edible, when there's no taste, we don't care for it to be where it's derived from. Because there's no taste, there's no problem. Same thing with, very often they make ink for pens. They use beer. They use some sort of beer. They derive it from beer, which is chametz from barley. Because you don't eat that ink, it's not a problem. Shoe polish is the same also. They say some shoe polishes dogs can eat, so it's a problem. But it really, that's where it falls into the category of can you eat it or not? And these types of cosmetics and things that aren't necessarily food, but we consume what we keep on Pesach. So if it's edible, if the dog can consume it, it's a problem. If not, then you can keep it and you can use it on Pesach. That's a quick synopsis of chametz that's no longer edible on Pesach and how we proceed with it. Have a wonderful day.